Yeah, it fit in with the schedule this year, coming over, trying to get a couple of events in the fall, and off the back of Houston, seemed to be sensible to stay over. I've heard so many great things about Sea Island, never been here before at all. My first time playing the event, and playing the Seaside course yesterday was really enjoyable. The weather was beautiful, and it's a great place to be. I really liked the golf course a lot, and looking forward to the challenge this week.
Making your fourth and final start of the fall portion of the PGA Tour season. Just some comments on your game, highlighted by a T5 at the CJ Cup earlier this season.
Yeah, my game has been feeling generally pretty good since August, I guess. I've played some nice stuff. I lost a playoff back at the Wyndham and a T5 in Vegas. There's some good stuff in there. I got to say, I was a bit rusty last week, coming off 3 weeks off, and that course really demanded a lot out of everybody last week, and I wasn't quite on, but hopefully it was a good warm-up for this week, and I'm looking to finish the year, obviously, with a big showing here.
Excellent. All right, well, we will take questions at this time from you on the line. A reminder, if you can stay off video until it is your time to ask Adam a question, I will call on you in an orderly fashion. So if you do have a question for Adam, please raise your hand at this point, and I will call on you. Questions for Adam. I hear Adam Shupak typing. Adam Shupak, go ahead.
Hey there, Adam. I just wanted to get your thoughts. Are you much of a user of the green books?
I do take it with me. However, I sometimes use it and sometimes don't. I probably take it with me just because it's available. To be honest, I'm kind of in favor of, or wish they'd never surfaced, because now it's a tough thing to take away.
Yeah, will you use one? This will be the last week that it will be legal. Will you be using one this week?
I'll take one this week. I have no real course experience, so I may find myself in a position where it's just helpful, certainly on a long putt, to kind of have a general quick feel of which way the putt goes, but I do look forward to them not being part of the game going forward.
And just curious, do you feel like it negatively impacted you at the Wyndham in the playoff when you were trying to win that tournament?
I'd like to blame it on the green book. Yeah, sure. No, I don't think it really played a role on that putt. I think that was more a culmination of things all revolving around me, but there are moments. I think everybody who's used the green book has gotten frustrated with it at some points, because it's very hard to plot precisely where the whole location is, and you can be slightly off sometimes, and then therefore a putt doesn't do what the book says. And I know from talking to a few guys that happens once or twice a week, and then the green book gets tossed aside for the rest of the week, and everyone relies on their instinct and feel again.
Are you much of a goal setter, and do you do that at the beginning of this new season, or will you do that when the calendar turns January 1?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a goal setter, of course, but not down to very specific things. I've always kind of based my career on being a winner, and that's been harder the last 4 or 5 years for me. There have been less wins, even though I think some areas of my game have improved a lot. And again, next year my goal is to win tournaments, and hopefully big ones. And there's small goals that go into that process, but nothing like I want to be ranked top 10 in bunker play or anything very specific like that. More general goal setting with, winning as the outcome.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Ron Green Jr. Ron, go ahead.
Hey there, Adam.
Hey.
There's a lot of talk about fall schedules and all this, and some guys like to play, some guys don't. Do you have a rule of thumb? I mean, do you see it as a calendar year that you like to play, or do you Or do you take the fall differently every year?
I think you take it differently depending what position you're in. You know, I find myself playing a few times this fall. I wouldn't say a lot, but I'm playing 4 events in this fall because this will be my last event, most likely in the States, until Genesis next year. So the idea was to try and play a few and play well and put myself with a little cushion for the FedEx Cup, because no doubt I'm going to fall about 10 spots every week I don't play now, and I'll come back in 150th place, and it's you know, I really want a good result this week, so I'm not in that position.
And with all the talk about what may or may not happen with other initiatives and things, do you think what's going on around professional golf right now is a good thing long term, beneficial, regardless of how it shakes out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, no matter what it is, things over time need to be refined. You know, they can't stay the same. Other things are changing, so you have to adapt a little bit, and that's true for golf as well. I mean, even just looking at the FedEx Cup, I mean, we've adapted that several times over the 15 years it's been going. So you always have to be aware of what's going on and make some changes. And I think with all this discussion, something good will come of it for the game of golf.
Thanks.
All right, that might be it for us stateside, but Ian, you're joining us. Oh, well, Ian, you are joining us quite early in the morning. Do you have a question for Adam while you're on the line?
Yes, please, Adam. Actually, I'm based in London, so it's not too late. Adam, I've not seen you since the British Open, when you cut a bit of a dejected figure when you walked away. A week is a long time in golf, but I just wondered, you know, five months on from that figure who walked off a bit fed up at Royal St George's, how have things changed, and are you in a much more, you know, happy with your lot and your golf and life in general?
I think so, yeah. I remember that now, and I think that was kind of rock bottom of frustration for me with everything. You know, it had been up to that point. It had been a challenging season of golf for me, and of course that affects my general attitude. I put so much into my career and sacrifice a lot of things, including time at home, to do this, and I just wasn't getting the results, and that's what it's all about. It's a result-based kind of industry or profession that I'm in, and I found that very frustrating, and the whole major season had passed me by there on that day when you saw me, and I came away empty-handed, and I was disappointed. But since then, you know, it was around that time, it was a good reset. I could see a couple of things changing, actually. It was equipment-wise at the time that was starting to feel good, even though they didn't get the results that week, but everything has certainly fallen into a much more calm spot now, and we're far from out of this pandemic, but it seems like we can see our way forward, and there's less moving targets for me to try and hit in all this and balancing that. So I feel like I'm much more calm and certainly feeling more optimistic about things than 5 months ago.
Have you moved your base now, or are you still in the? You were talking about potentially moving back over and having a more permanent base in the States.
No, I didn't. I mean, I think if the situation was getting worse, that was certainly on the table, but I haven't, and I think things are now starting to take shape where we can, make some plans as how I can best manage my schedule, and that includes even starting the next year playing in the Middle East. My intention is to play in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and be part of the European tour, and that makes sense seeing that I'm living in Europe as well.
Could I just one more question about Min Woo Lee, who's challenging for the race to win the race to Dubai, probably an outside shot, but can you talk a little bit about him and how he's, how impressed you are with him and his movement this year?
Yeah, he's a super talent, and it's funny how things work. I was talking with somebody who knows him the week before the Open Championship, and he was asking me why Minwoo hadn't done better, and I said it could be many things, but it's probably just a matter of time. He's so talented, and then he won the Scottish Open in pretty fine style that week, and obviously put himself in a great position. And the talent is all there. He's got the modern game, he's got all the attributes. He just has to find the best way to apply himself to really consistently challenge at that level, like the Scottish Open. And no doubt, a really good week this week would do his confidence the world of good. He might win the whole thing, and we see a new star of golf.
Brilliant. And one final thing, how are you looking then really for 2022? Do you feel as though, you've still got the rest of the year, but is this the last event you'll do this year?
Yeah, this is...
Where do you go in 2022?
Yeah, this is my last event. So like I said before, I'm here to win some FedEx Cup points. I'd love to win the tournament. I was close a few months back, and I feel like my game generally is in a pretty good spot. I think it's good enough to contend here this week, and I'd like to make the most of that. And then a slight change to my schedule, a bit like I used to do when I was a lot younger, starting the year in the Middle East and then coming to America a little later in the year. And I think given all things in my life, where things are at, I think that's going to be a nice way to start the year and maximize not only my family time, but my golf time as well. And I'm very optimistic about where things are at. Some things, although it was frustrating this year, have moved in a positive direction for me, and I look to benefit off the back of that next year.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and we'll go back to Adam Schupak.
Adam, how do you stay motivated when you've been doing this for over 20 years?
Yeah, it's ups and downs. I think in the down times, like I was saying a few months back at the British Open, the frustration was there, but then I come to the realization it's the only thing I know how to do, so I don't have a lot of options outside of that, and I better get my head back on and figure it out. I love doing it. I think sometimes this break will probably be good if you starve me of the competition and the opportunity of playing for a little bit. You come out very hungry and in a good space to play another season, and I think that's important. And I know there's been a lot of talk, but if there was, our season is very long, and as you get older, I think you have to make that time off somehow. And unfortunately, sometimes that means sacrificing playing events and falling well off the pace, but your goals might have to change too, and the focus doesn't become the season, it becomes certain events.
What does the month of December look like for Adam Scott away from golf?
Well, yeah, look, I have 3 small kids, so things at home are very busy, but it's exciting time for being Christmas. The kids obviously very excited for that, and they better be good, so Santa does show up. That's what I get to bribe them with for the next few weeks. But I've been away a lot this year, so sometimes the hard thing, certainly during the year, is to switch my mind off enough when I'm at home, but that's most important for me to do now in December, when there's really no consequence golf-wise to me to switch my mind off and enjoy what I have at home.
And what specifically did you feel like you found after the British Open in your game?
I really struggled with my driving through to that point, and one of the guys who fits me at Titleist, Liam from the UK, suggested I change some of the technical stuff in my driver, the driver head and the shaft, and things started to feel a bit more natural to me again from that point. And the driver for me is a sensitive area, because I've I feel like I'm a good driver of the golf ball, and when I drive it well, it kind of trickles through the rest of the game, the confidence and the freedoms and all those kind of things. And you know, it didn't happen like overnight, but it's been getting progressively better since, and I think I've seen improvement then through the rest of my bag as well. And you know, it's amazing just how that calms you down, you know, standing on a tee, and you stand on the tee more often in a confident state, and I feel like golf isn't as hard as it was earlier in the year.